What's going on, everybody? It's your host, Dr. Splash, and today I am doing a video that, quite honestly, I'm probably the only person on YouTube capable of making this video, that being Ascended Pinhead, the strongest form of Pinhead from the Hellraiser comics, versus Dream of the Endless from DC Comics. Who would win if these two dream abstract-based characters were to clash? I'm going to give you that answer. If you love these Halloween matchups, if you love these big cosmic versus battles, make sure to smash the like button. 300 to 400 likes would be absolutely amazing. 500 if you're feeling spiffy. But with that out of the way, we're not going to waste too much time with this one. I'm going to break down both characters and then tell you who I think wins. Let's get into it. Now, first up, we have Dream of the Endless. Now, for Dream, there are two separate, what we would probably consider continuities, with that being the original Sandman comics and then DC Black Label, more recent Vertigo type style comics. We will be taking Sandman 2018 and on, his more recent iteration, the one that occurred after the changeover. Now, the Dream of the Endless is a part of a pantheon of wildly powerful beings in DC Comics. These abstract beings, the Endless, they all represent different aspects of creation, all of which extend past even beyond the gods themselves. And of course, we know in DC Comics there's time, space, infinite dimensions, infinite ever-expanding multiverse. Then you even go beyond dimensions. You get realms beyond time, space, and anything we can conceptualize. You get to places like where the new gods reside, archetypal realms. And then you need something where even gods, these archetypal gods, can go. They can pass on to after everything ends. That is where the Endless comes in. They are the finality to creation, right? Dream of the Endless is perhaps the most nuanced and complicated of all of these Endless. He is the one that empowers and supports the dreaming. Now, what makes this special is the dreaming is the abstract conceptual dreams, imaginations, and ideas that make up things mortals consider to be dreams, right? Even the concept of mortal dreamings, mortal conceptualization, that comes from the dreaming itself. What makes this special and why it's important to the power of Dream himself is that the dreaming, which has infinite, ever-stacking narratives, stories, dreams that haven't even existed yet, all these things, their own separate multiverses that transcend what we would consider regular multiverses. All of these things are reliant upon the literal existence of the likes of Dream. If he's not there, if he's not powering it, it starts to crumble. Passively, his power is high outer. He's a high outer generator. Like that's an insane thing to think about. And these high outer conceptual dreams, these ones that like even multiverses are blinked away in their presence, these things are ultimately insignificant to a full power dream. He can erase narrative, stories, even weakened. He can transcend the narrative, explain the narrative, and even manipulate it and talk to the readers. Dream is an absolute monster, but he's not the only monster in this battle. Can the king of the dreams stop the defiler of the dreams? Let's talk about Pinhead. Now, Pinhead is never really thrown into the pantheon of strongest in horror, mostly, in my opinion, because a lot of people didn't watch all the movies and read the accompanying material. You see, in the movies, if you just watch those, you could easily come away with the idea that Pinhead's not that strong. But if you read the accompanying books and comics, you realize he's an absolute fucking problem. Now, the extent of the Hellraiser verse is a lot more nuanced than people think. There's the regular universe, the infinite multiverse, the real world itself, as we have even seen editors and writers receive these lamentation figurations. They can receive those boxes from Pinhead, and that literally transcends to the real world. And then you have concepts like heaven and hell. These are infinite and transcendent in nature to the likes of dimensions, with even some of them, like the snow realm, each infinite snowflake infinitely transcends the other. It's like an absurd transcendental stacking that we have seen the Hellraiser verse have. Each hell also has infinite layers to it, and powerful figures like Pinhead, who serves the Leviathan, the perfect being of chaos, they come from the void outside of even heaven and hell, which I already explained is outer to high outer. On top of this, Pinhead himself is a part of a narrative that is never ending and will never end. That's why he's constantly on bullshit. It's why he's able to become so powerful. And conceptually, he can also defile, destroy, and attack concepts we would consider to be absolutely broken. This includes the story tree and the dream seed. The story tree being an archetypal tree, with each branch representing the infinite narratives that spread throughout the stories of fiction. The dream seed being all stories, narrative, myths, and religions combined into one conceptual, archetypal, collective unconsciousness called the dream seed. That's kind of what the concept is. Why are these two things important? Both of these concepts, which if we're using typical scaling terms and how they are written out to be, if we were to address those as outer to high outer, which we should, we have to acknowledge this is broken because Pinhead literally takes a piss in it. Pisses in the dream seed, corrupts it casually. It was nothing to him to corrupt something like that. So for his power to extend to that casually, as literally a prank to fuck with people, absolutely absurd. Again, Pinhead, as the servant of Leviathan, is empowered by one of the strongest beings in fiction, and essentially is a limitless troll that goes around inflicting chaos and pain on the multiverse to one day, hopefully, turn creation into a reflection of Leviathan's perfect chaos. So, the Defiler of Dreams, an absolute monster. Is it enough to take on the King of the Dream of the Endless? Let's get into it. First of all, if this battle is interesting to you, because I think it's interesting, smash that like button. Thank you for the sponsorship on this battle. It fits the theme of October perfectly. Now, who do I think wins / how do I see this playing out? Well, obviously, conceptually, both have similar power sets. They both have to do with the abstract. They both fuck with the abstract, can corrupt, and even destroy the abstract. So at that point, it comes down to whose power do I think is more nuanced and whose power do I think extends further. Well, when it comes to this battle, while Pinhead absolutely has the power to take down most beings in comics, I think a peak Dream of the Endless can withstand what he brings to the table. In fact, I think some of the nightmares, some of the high outer conceptual beings that we have seen Dream take down, I think those would be more akin to the likes of Pinhead, and I think Leviathan would be more akin to what something like Dream would face. So in the end, in terms of the cosmologies and how they stack, I would probably favor the extent of the power of Dream over the extent of the power of Pinhead. Though it would be a dope battle, and definitely I think Pinhead could do serious damage to the Dreaming. With that being said, Dream himself scales above the entirety of the Dreaming and can passively empower it all. So I just think he's stronger. And in the end, I'm going to have to favor Dream of the Endless. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Who do you think will win this battle? And more importantly, what battles do you want to see this spooky season, this October? If you want to sponsor your own spooky battle or a spooky topic, hit me up on Discord. But besides that, we're just rolling with the best Halloween style content. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your host, Dr. Splash. And remember, it's Yancey Street, bitches.